can Spurs still attract a top manager? Obviously, we did attract Conte and Mourinho to the club post Pochettino, but have we burnt too many bridges now? Do you think we can still attract a top manager? We'll start with you, Ariane.
Look, this question is tricky in nature because what's a top manager? Like, are you gonna say someone like on the same caliber of serial winner as top manager? I don't think any serial winner wants to touch Daniel Levy anymore. But in my eyes, that's not what a top manager is. In my eyes, I want someone that we can build with, someone maybe in the Pochettino mold a little bit more, right? Because Pochettino, I think, at any time would be happy to come back to the club. But I think there's also other coaches similar to Pochettino that I think would definitely come to Spurs. Past Postecoglou at Celtic is one. Arne Slot is a great
He's not a top
coach.
manager.
These are... No, they're not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is where you're getting it.
Oh. Is he gone? Everything all right, Ariane?
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I'm good. It's just that it's spring break and my grandpa was asking me if I'm going to school.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Are you going to school?
No, it's spring break and he's on stream. That's it.
No, it's spring break. Anyways, where I was, this is where the trick is for what's the top manager. A top manager is different in anybody's eyes. In my eyes, I want someone who I can build a project with, and I would consider people like Slot, people like De Zerbi, people like Postecoglou, people like Graham Potter. These are coaches that I would consider top coaches. I think they're coaches that I'd be very happy with. I think the only one coach that I think fits both the serial winner mold and the project manager mold that everybody's been on the boat of is Nagelsmann. And that is only for his last resort is he ever going to come to us, and that's going to be very tricky with so many clubs that are probably going to be looking for a coach this summer. But hey, I think it depends kind of what you think a top manager is. But with what my definition of a top manager is, I think of course we can. I think we can attract someone like even just Pochettino himself. But there are people who are in the Pochettino, like I said, Postecoglou, Slot, Potter. There are coaches that I would really happily take. That I think would be happy to come to Spurs. Yes, I would say yes.
But Ariane, just not to just to play the other side, we're hearing like loads of reports at the moment, from Ali Gold saying Spurs put feelers out to De Zerbi, and he said due to the uncertainty at Spurs right now, he wouldn't come to us. Pochettino reportedly has reservations due to the uncertainty around Tottenham, and no one knows what direction we're going. And Nagelsmann as well prefers Chelsea to Tottenham because the mess Tottenham are in right now. So when you're looking at like our position in terms of like how much is up in the air, as Jodri said before, like how much uncertainty there is, why would anyone join that unless they know what direction we're going in?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be, like for Nagelsmann, you said like you have Chelsea, who are just such a much more stable and well-run club, and then us, who are the antithesis of that. Yes, we are a mess, and we're being run horrendously, and yes, managers will have their reservations, and I think there is also some questions that are going to be had about really the reliability of asking De Zerbi if he's willing to switch jobs while being in a crucial run-in with Brighton. I mean, even if he's super interested, I don't think he's ever going to come out and say, oh, hell yeah, I'll come to Spurs in 3 weeks, pack my bags. Like, that just won't happen. So there is also that way I have to factor in, but generally, yes, I think to answer your questions more specifically instead of avoiding it, managers are going to have their reservations because of just how poorly run we are. But as your grandpa said, this is not only Daniel Levy's biggest crisis, it's also his biggest opportunity. So if he's able to convince a manager that we have a direction to go in, if he's able to convince any manager that we have a direction to go in, I think we are able to attract a manager, just because it's going to be difficult, yes, but it's also going to be an opportunity to set a direction, because we've been going downward for about 5 years now. It's not impossible to rebuild anything. And so maybe this is the time where we do build the direction. So yeah, I'm still going to say.
But Tottenham themselves don't know what direction they want to go in. How can they convince a manager of it when they don't know themselves? We've
been traveling down a confused path for about 5 years. But I think generally, with the names of the coaches that have been coming out and what we're interested in, you have Nagelsmann, Enrique, Pochettino, Slot, who I mentioned. I think there's some reports about Postecoglou. What other managers have we really been linked to, right? About 5. De Zerbi, sorry. The direction has changed from someone like a Tuchel or someone like what's his name at Juventus?
Allegri,
right? Or Conte and Mourinho. You have a lot of these serial winners, and those aren't really the names that are appearing on our shortlists. And I think that is one indicator of the direction we want to go in. I think we've kind of realized this serial winner shtick does not work at Spurs for one reason or another. I think that is at least the base of beginning to look in some kind of direction. And I think Spurs are kind of aware that they need to rebuild something, whether they like it or not, because Kane is turning 31 years old. Son is 30 already. Son is 30 already, and Kane is turning 30. So we need to do something. And I think, to Levy's credit, something that I very rarely give him, the coaches that have been linked to Spurs and shortlisted are coaches that I think are a step in the right direction in terms of what we should do as a club. And so I think that is kind of a base. Yes, we can build a direction off that. Yes, we have a massive problem because our director of football is not legally allowed to do his job. Our
That's
coach
the big thing for me.
A assistant coach, and our women's team, right? But that those are problems that can and hopefully will be addressed. That's what I'm saying. If they are addressed in time and you can convince a coach that you can build this club up with them, I'm sure someone like Arne Slot is not going to stick at Feyenoord and say, I'm just using him as an example because I think it's an easy one to kind of paint the picture of how I can. I think it's easy to realize that Arne Slot would trade Feyenoord for the Premier League top 6. He would.
Right, but let's say Slot comes in for an interview tomorrow. What's his first question? His first question was, "What's the strategy of the football club?" And how can we answer that while Paratici is suspended and waiting for appeal? How can we answer that question?
We don't necessarily. You're saying he comes in tomorrow in the midst of the crisis.
I'm asking just for example.
Likely going to come in the summer where we're going to have time. No, I know, but I'm saying I think it's more appropriate to answer your question in the context that we've had 2 months to try and coast our way out of a crisis and kind of get an idea of what we want to do, because we haven't even interviewed any coaches yet, and I think that's for good reason, because we have to feel ourselves out as a club. So I think it's more appropriate to kind of think, all right, let's pretend it's the last game of the season, and next week we're going to be interviewing coaches. Maybe by then we'll have some kind of an idea of what direction we want to go in. And I'm not saying we will, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, but I'm saying it's possible. That's what I'm saying, basically.
Sounds like to me another 72 days without a manager, to be honest.
I think maybe, yeah, it's possible, but it's also possible that that doesn't happen. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that this isn't a crisis that Daniel Levy can't fix, but it could be one he won't fix. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's
I get it.
Possible to fix this. There is the opportunity present to build something. Whether we do it or not is an entirely other thing. But yes, we can attract another class coach. Yes, I think we can.
Yeah, I think it's difficult because when you're looking at the master manipulator that is Daniel Levy, he brings in these managers to the boardroom, probably the best boardroom in the country, best training ground. They have a look at the facilities. They walk into the stadium. They're like, wow, this club is really ready to explode. They've got everything set in place. And it manipulates people's minds thinking, they can come here and they can actually do a job. I think it definitely manipulated Mourinho. I think Conte still had his reservations, but I think these things, it's like the fuse is going down and down and down and down and down, and suddenly it's going to hit a head where no top manager is going to want to come here unless we do change our ways. And I think we can still attract someone, but I think the likes of the kind of levels of Conte and Mourinho and those kind of levels of manager, I don't think are interested in coming here anymore after seeing how we've burnt Mourinho and Conte. And I think obviously we're going to have to look for the level down, and I think the level down, the probably top of that level down, is Pochettino. And we're hearing that he has reservations, and I think we're going to end up with someone like a Potter or a Rodgers. And you know what? I actually like Rodgers as a manager, and I think he's a very good manager. And I think that, you said, Jory, before that he's kind of like a standard Premier League manager, but I actually think that's doing him a bit of a disservice. So I think that he's better than that. And I think he punched above his weight when he was at Liverpool going for a title there, fell short at the end. Punched above his weight going for top 4 consistently in 2 years running with Leicester, fell short, yes. But he did get over the line and win an FA Cup there as well, which is the first FA Cup in their history. So you got to say that they're
I don't disagree with that. Actually, I do think he's above average for sure. I don't mean it more as an average. I just mean like if you have a need that is, I'm a Premier League club and I want to be some kind of contention as a Premier League club, he's a good fit. But if you have a need that says I'm a Premier League club or I'm a European Cup and I need to win stuff, he's not the right fit really for me in that way. Even though I'm not gonna say it's impossible or anything, but he's not a kind of a sure solution for that, or he's not.
I don't think anyone is at this club. No one is at this club.
No, and then you bring in the lens of our club, and I would go like I love most of the names that you mentioned, Arian, as project managers. And like for me in the Premier League, obviously De Zerbi is showing amazing stuff, and really exciting manager, So, okay, let's say we convince him, even though he's already said he's got reservation, we bring him in, pay the release clause. He comes in, we're doing a project. Where's the scouting? Oh, there's no fucking scouting. Yeah. Okay. Where's the sporting director and the direction? Yeah, we have a suspended Italian sporting director who's straight out of the Conte school of football or classic Italian football. This okay. So that's pretty hopeless, I think. Even though that's probably somewhere along the line we need to go, we go the other way. Levy decides that he needs to save his life and get a big name in, and we get a big name in. Let's say Ancelotti takes us over Brazil, quits Madrid and takes us over Brazil, Okay, let me see my budget, Oh, Levy wants to look at what's going to be available in the market and it doesn't work either way we go, And so, I'm not trying, like I'm sure a guy like Sean or whatever who loves to argue with us, Levy outers, he will say, I'm trying to shoehole it into this argument. No, guys, you cannot show me a path to success with Levy in his current role. You can't show me that. But I do think once that's out of the way, I do think it's probably closer to the project way. And I do think we would be more than blessed and should kiss our lucky stars if a Pochettino was to take a second punt at it. I don't think I've heard many reports as well as Levy's turning Pochettino down, So I think Pochettino. Yeah. So I hope that Pochettino is not that so romantic and loves us that much, which we know he does, that he's, deciding stuff beyond what he should, what his sense should tell him to decide. Because if you have any sense now, Poch, you stay away now. You don't come in now, because this period that we're going into is doomed to failure. The only success I see now for the next 2 years is a clear out and a changing, laying the groundworks for whatever philosophy then comes in after that. We simply need to keep clearing out these squad players, and we need to clear out a lot of staff, I think, as well. We need to build the scouting network, so on. We need to do the hard work now, and it's
going to be pathways to the academy as well. Very important.
Exactly, and as much as we don't like looking at our neighbors these days, and all of their success, they actually have kind of the blueprint for what we need to do as a club, really, which is what Arsenal have been doing, So as much as I didn't see it just last year even, I see it now, and I do see that what they were doubling down on as what we thought was excuses at the time, actually there was some substance behind it, and it's paying dividends now, so this is kind of the only path I see. Like now, a really, really difficult period. So whatever manager we get in, we should have almost an attitude that we should be okay with him going away once we're ready to kind of do something real again. And then I do think the Tottenham way and the way to maybe create a little bit of unification again is a more project-based approach. But I would say then we need then to also do the project at another level. Our scouting needs now to become the best in the league, and our even our project manager needs to then be the best we can get in the world at that. It should be a Nagelsmann, it should be so on, and we're not going to get that at this point in time, so yeah.
Yeah, like you see, like Chelsea, who've sacked Potter, and they're immediately, scheduling interviews and starting their managerial process. And we're just kind of, it seems to me like Tottenham at the moment just seem to be twiddling their thumbs, just awaiting to hear the Paratici news, waiting to hear the appeal, not really sure what direction we're going to go in. And it seems to me as well, I don't know whether Tottenham feel like they can't attract a manager right now, or they just simply can't attract a manager right now. But either way, it's like we're in this state of like limbo where other clubs like Chelsea are acting very fast to appoint a new manager and looking, even though they got an interim right now, they're making moves to try and do something. Yeah, we're just like waiting to see what happens while our managerial targets probably get swept up by other teams, and we're gonna like either see who's left or again, like I read a whole article from The Athletic about 2 years ago, and it was about how Spurs just weren't decisive in their managerial search, and their indecision led to a lot of the targets either declining them or getting gobbled up by other teams, and the indecision rumbled on for what was it, nearly 3 months, and we ended up with Nuno Espirito Santo. So I mean, how do we avoid that situation happening again? I mean, is it doomed to happen again?
I think we could get even worse this time around. I certainly don't hope so, but I really do think like every manager, like every agent/manager WhatsApp group out there and all of that, like Tottenham are toxic now. You should not touch Tottenham if you want to, and even for players as well, and they're right, and we just have to look at that as there's no way around clearing out and like trying to create a clean slate, but I would also say, like in terms of the length and what caliber of manager we're going to get and stuff like that, it's even if we get lucky in that manner, nothing else is going to fit that. Nothing else will have a clear direction and so on, So even if we bribe, I could see, for example, a Rafa coming in, which I would personally hate. I really don't like. But somebody that has proven himself,
back to the Tottenham DNA people.
Yeah, exactly. I could see that. Simply because it's a big enough name for Levy, thinking I'll have some cover by that. And Rafa is on the ascendancy or on the descendancy, and it sees a big paycheck, maybe one of the last ones I can get. I'll take it, do my 2 years and stuff like that. That's one I can see. But I can also see maybe some like a Potter or something, a project manager out of favor or not the hottest commodity come in. But that's going to be so painful. That's going to be such a failure, guys, at this point in time. We have no infrastructure to do a project as now. Our infrastructure was Paul Mitchell and Potts. That was the infrastructure that we had. They're not there. There's nothing comparable to the miracles that they pulled out in terms of building a squad and all of that. So, I struggle. Like I'm really apprehensive about what's coming up for us, guys. I've joked about it. I said, you're going to dream about the days of Nuno. It's going to be like the sweet days of Nuno, but I really easily can see a scenario like I'm convinced that Kane is going this summer. I was convinced with the Man City stuff, and of course, if he had half a chance to go, he would have been gone. I don't think even a big name manager like maybe Potts, and a huge budget from Levy, then maybe we could keep him. But that's not coming, guys. And Levy didn't want Eriksen back in, even though it was a bargain and Eriksen wanted to come. Levy doesn't want to have Potts back in for the same reason. Levy will have to face his prior deeds with these guys if he doesn't want to do that. He just wants that to disappear and try and go on in another direction, So I don't have too much belief in Potts coming back under Levy, which is fine by me because I want Potts back, but I want him after the Levy era back. So that would be the dream scenario for me, So, but
it's interesting. It's interesting what the views are on Poch and Levy, because a lot of people will be like, they don't want Poch back under Levy. Poch will never come back under Levy. But then on the flip side of it, we're hearing that they're still very close. They still speak all the time and blah blah blah. When he was here,
but that's
they used
also
to
a
go on
problem of
holidays.
it. Yeah, but that I feel that's a failing from Potts, to be honest. I think that's a bit of a problem. They should, of course, be courteous and have a good relationship and like each other and all of that, but they shouldn't be mates, in my view. I don't think it could be a great thing for another club, but because of our club, because of how Levy is and so on, it has been to the detriment of Potts' work, not to the detriment of Levy's work, So having more distance, having more kind of professional arrangement between them, I think would definitely be better. That's what I'm fear is actually Potts would come back, all the feel good, all of that, and then just Levy even has an easier time dealing with Potts, and not serving his need, So. So that's my biggest fear, actually. So, but yeah, like I say, for me, Potts, in terms of knowing what this club needs and how to do it, there's probably no person in the world that knows it better than Potts. But he's not gonna get the tools to do it. I think, like nobody else has gotten it. It's not like Mourinho didn't know. It's not like Conte didn't know. It's not like we don't know. Ben, you could walk in there. Sim, you could walk in there and fix the club seriously if you got the money. And I'm not even kidding. Whether it be a champion, championship manager, or what the computer game you play, Ben, is called, or FIFA career mode, or whatever. We are expert enough in terms of the big issues, all of us so if we had a check that would fit the need, we could walk in there and do a lot of good, So it doesn't take a brain surgeon to get going. It takes Levy stepping out of the way and handing the resources to get something done, So.
Ariane, any comments from you before we move on?
No, I think he's nailed it. I mean, like I said in the very beginning, all of us know what the problem has been. Like, there's just no reason for me to, we all know the problem's Levy. So I'll leave it at that because, I could say this player's a problem, this coaching staff is a problem, this coach is a problem, but it's at the end of the day, all of that comes back down to Levy. Yeah. Every single.
It makes for a dead boring conversation, guys. I'm sorry. It makes for repetitive, tedious content. But the thing is, like I said before, please somebody show me a path to success that doesn't involve dealing with the Levy issue, And I have never seen it since Potts left, and it just gets more and more blocked, if anything, So.
There's actually this few people in the comments have asked me to mention it, so I will mention it. But there's actually this petition going around to remove Daniel Levy as chairman, which I doubt it's gonna, nothing's gonna come of it. But apparently, at the moment, it's nearly 10,000 signatures on that petition.
I signed it earlier today, but there's actually 3 petitions going, which is a little bit of a problem also, you know. You should
The organisation of this fan base is worse than the
exactly.
organisation of this club.
That's classic ENIC.
I signed them all of them, you know, but you know it would be more effective with just one petition. But all
I think
right.
there's one that has like far more than the others. To be fair, though. So.
Yeah.
I think that's the one they're referring to now, right? The 10,000.
The problem is everyone wants to be that guy to make the petition, or that guy to organise this, or it's like too many egos going.
How many signatures do they need?
Need to what?
I don't know. Is it a target? Is there a target?
It's an awareness thing, dude. Because you can get, I think, to 1 million signatures. There's no legal binding that Levy's gonna have to go.
Petitions, they don't mean anything. These petitions.
Yeah, they don't mean anything.
No, but still,
But it sends a signal. All it does is send a message.
Well, let Joey speak.
Exactly. It's a soundbite for the media to grab onto, and that creates pressure on Levy. So don't discount it fully. I do agree. It's Levy's empire. He has a stranglehold on it. I like you. We talked about it last time, Ben. I do agree about all of that, but we should still just do our thing and do it.
I agree.
Without if we make this an expectation of having to get result here and now, then we'll give up. You know, then we should just settle in and keep on point, and eventually good sense will win out. You know, we have to believe in that. You know, so.
I will tell you one thing in terms of you know, Levy and ENIC. This is probably the biggest number I've ever seen attached to the Levy out movement or an ENIC out movement. So I guess that's positive in some way.
The same with the Conte rant. I mean, it opened a lot of eyes from fence sitters and even Levy-inners. You know, so you know, even though it's like I saw Coach Stell do a video, and I agree. What people don't understand often with people like Stell and Brian Daigle and even myself and stuff like that is that we're burning the midnight oil here, guys. It's not for free to go against the manager. Now we get Conte out. Now we don't have a Conte. We've wasted Son and Kane's career on bullshit like this. You know, we've wasted the tenure of one of the greatest managers of all time with Mourinho, and now Conte, and one of the greatest up-and-coming managers. Stuff like this. It's not without cost and penalty. You know, so really, you know, have some, put yourself to the test with your opinions. You know, okay, if you don't want the manager and you think that's the problem, that's fine. That's fine. I think Arian has a sophisticated view on it with seeing a much larger picture. I think there's a lot of Levy outers that have a very simplistic and toxic and completely unhelpful view on it. As to the Levy-inners, many of them, you know. But for me, it's important to understand the urgency. We won't have this brand. We won't have these players. We won't have it, so on. And I think now we just had a serious kind of beat down to our brand and to who we are in the world of football. You know, we are a much lesser club after the Southampton game than before the Southampton game. And not to talk of, you know, the Poch era, of course, which is important to keep bringing up because this was the way forward. We squander it. And since then, we've been squandering and wasting our resources, our players, and our momentum. And now our fans, you know, my best friend who's kept me through the years informed about Tottenham when I wasn't following Tottenham, but still kind of a Tottenham fan. He was all in and kept me kind of in the loop on things, you know. He's kind of like, okay, I think this is the time to simply stop watching football. That's why he is like, I can't do any more of this. I've done this my whole life. It's been a constant source of negativity with very few ups, and like, I'm not doing this anymore, you know. And I think, unfortunately, too many of the real hardcore long-time fans are really there at this moment, you know. So, yeah.
It's mad. I'm actually got the petition here. I'm actually watching the things because since we last spoke about it, it's gone up by about 100.
Okay.
So
I mean,
I don't know if it's to do with the stream or it's just gaining traction on social media.